having had a chance to play all these different systems, which one's your favorite?
I mean, I think there's something like I think you're always going to love the system that you come up on. Second edition D&D had just come out and Dark Sun had just
Mhm.
come out, which will be
Oh,
relevant here in a
nice.
second. I was rooming with two friends, Josh and Andy. They were actually the two who were like super D&D curious. Like I had never really heard about it. And so like I was the youngest of the three. Josh was actually like a couple years older. Andy was my same grade. And there was like a group of people who were sitting downstairs in like the lobby of this, college dorm, uh, sitting around in a circle, being dorks, playing Dungeons and Dragons. And like my two friends were completely scared and petrified, like would not go approach these people. And
Mhm.
so in an act of courage and making my bluff skill, I like pretty much just walk up to this group. This is like seventh grade Max, right?
Oh,
Like
wow.
not the most confident person. Like walk up this group of people and they're like, "Oh, do you know how to play?" And I'm like, "Yeah, totally." And sit down and just like get thrown into second edition D&D. So I like totally lied my way into my first game in Dark Sun. I was a Thrycreen cleric. Uh
Oh,
man,
nice.
there was oh god, there was a book of infinite spells and man, Oriah and Alex and the DM was Kyle and that's kind of what started it. And so then we took what we learned and then like started a home group and yeah, started playing when I was in like middle school.
It's awesome. I didn't get into D&D until the late '90s,
Okay.
and 3.5 was out at that point.
Yeah.
I love 3.5. I don't know if it's nostalgia or just the customization, but oh man, did I love it.
There's a Wednesday night group that was like the primogenitor of peak D&D that still goes on, and we're actually playing 3.5 now, which
Oh,
is
nice. That's
uh,
awesome.
a nightmare and a mess and wonderful. And like, fortunately, we have a good DM who is all for epic levels, and so we're about to hit like level 20, 21, which that game
Oh,
just gets
amazing.
messy.
Oh, yeah. I still have all my books. I have a massive series. Oh man, I think I have pretty much everything.
Oh, I'm sure, dude. It's
Oh, yeah.
so rich, and like what you said with the
Mhm.
customization,
Oh.
and like I said at the beginning, like I think you're always going to have like
Mhm.
the first one's always going to be a special place, and so like second
Yes.
edition player's option, which like you can really see the roots of third edition and what they did in there because they
Okay.
made a
Yeah, I've never
bunch of
played that one.
oh man, like they did some really those player option books in second edition are rad because like and they really are the stepping stone to the customization that came along in 3.5.
Nice.
That said, I've been able to like there's things I appreciate about all editions. Oh man.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. I mean, the only thing that I think comes close to that level of customization, but way more simplified, and you're playing it, it's DC 20.
Yeah, I mean the seeds are there, man. Like when it comes to character creation and when it comes to being able to build like whatever kooky
Exactly, the
awesome
multi-class.
vision you have in your head about what you
Yep,
want your character to be, you cannot beat DC 20 for the
oh yeah,
customization. Um,
exactly.
if it can go on for 20 years and get like even a fraction of what 3.5 did, crazy. I'd be excited to see what that looks like.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm sure we'll get there. He's never gonna stop creating, I don't think. He's just gonna keep adding on.
I mean, that is probably very true.
Yeah,
That dude will homebrew his homebrew squared into
exactly.
like beautiful, beautiful, crazy places.
Oh, yeah.
DC 20 stuff was just super serendipitous and lucky. Like so Luke Hart, DM Layer through LayerCon twice. One of them was down in Texas, the first one, and we were down there and like all drove down as a group. And Alan, coach, shows up and he and I are sitting at a table and we play this like PvP one shot together. And
Yeah.
like the dice willed us to be friends. Like they're like I don't even remember exactly what, but it was like one of those things where like we had like a contested check where we both rolled like the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, and then on the fourth one,
Wow.
he rolls a 20, I roll a one. So it's like okay, I guess I know what like I'm gonna play it like this, and so like he and I had a really good time and just became like friends there, and so like we were getting done with the second campaign and Nick was leaving, and it was right when like DC 20 stuff was starting out. And
Mhm.
so it was like, dude, like let us play this system, man. We'll we'll redline it until the
Yeah.
wheels fall off. Like, let's do this. And so it just kind of came up timing wise, is how we got on to DC 20. And I mean, Alan's a good dude, man.
Oh,
And
yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
it was super fun to be able to get to do that. And the fact that he let us also very, very cool. Um,
You're currently running Return to Argilia as your third campaign. For someone discovering it through this conversation, what is the adventure about?
oh man. Return to Argilia is an awesome story. It is Ben's like baby. It actually came from he DM'd for our Wednesday group way back in the day, second edition, and he actually ran. You'll hear it come up in the campaign that like we are the Vortorum, are sort of like the
Yep.
heroes of the age, and so he ran the second edition campaign was about like the second Vortorum, and the one we're doing now, we are the third Vortorum. And so, like, there are all sorts of Easter eggs that come up in this campaign that are a callback to that original one.
Nice.
And so Ben is a big Warhammer fan and really loved the Horus Heresy. And so I think the idea of like all of those deities and gods um, sort of served as like a bit of his inspiration for the world of Argilia. Um, it is a cool story about people who had no idea how powerful they were. And there's, man, this theocracy that is coming up and becomes pretty imperialistic, and like all sorts of magic was kind of like suppressed on the main continent, and things happen and the world goes a bit crazy. And then it gets into like the forces of light and darkness, coming to a head. There's this new god was supposed to be born, but wasn't. But someone or something kind of took its place and established this empire around it, and kind of untangling all of that. There are so many episodes where like the rug just will get pulled out from under us, and you can see it in my face, man. Like I don't get very loud, but like if I'm real quiet around the table, that's how you know I'm pissed. Um, and so, dude, there will be episodes where if you pay attention, like I like just the disappointed dad head shake, or the just like, oh my god, are you kidding? Um, and so I think it's through those heartstrings. And then I think Ben had some grandiose visions. Like I feel like you'll be able to relate that. Like you come up with all these ideas and you're like, oh, I'm gonna tie this in, I'm gonna tie that in, and we're gonna go over here, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, it's gonna be all. And then it just gets like the picture gets so big. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay,
Oh,
we
yeah.
gotta chop some of these. We gotta do a little culling here. Do some
Exactly. That's why
pruning.
I've learned to kind of not plan as much, have some loose story threads that I want to throw in, but I feel like it's better to know and understand the NPCs, their motivations, things like that. So that way, no matter how much my players derail the story, and they will derail the story,
Yes, 100%.
I know how they're going to react because I know their motivations, I know their desires, what they're after. So I feel like it's easier than creating a linear storyline that you have to do this for this to happen. Like I don't create my stories that way anymore.
No, I think that's wise. I think like it I mean, I know like personally, the reason I stopped doing that was like out of like disappointment and only childom, is like they're breaking all my toys. But I think too, like the dice tell the best stories.
Yes, they do.
And I think that also means that you should leave a little space into the stories, because like things will come out in the wash that you would have never imagined, like based on like, oh, this person made this choice, and like I didn't really have an idea for what that was going to be, but now I'm going to take this and play with that. And so you can make this like beautiful tapestry living world that like encompasses everyone's ideas, that just it's satisfying
So great.
for everybody. Like I know for like DMs and GMs, like y'all don't always get as much curiosity as players.
Mm,
right? Like we get the novelty and the curiosity because we don't know what's going to happen.
right.
And so I think when you leave space, like you were talking about, like then there gets to be like some awe and mystery and surprise for you along the way. And
Oh
you're
yeah,
like,
I've been surprised.
yes.
Speaking of choices, though, what are the chances you guys break the timeline again?
Oh God. I mean, just ask Will. He'll try to whenever. So you want to talk, man, I was pissed at that episode. Um, I was so mad. But I can remember I was like in the shower. Like I remember when the idea for Dark Timeline Julius hit me because like I was thinking about instead of being pissed, instead of being angry, like how can I work with this? Like how
Yeah.
could I yes and this? And I think I
Mhm.
had just watched the Darkest Timeline episode of Community, maybe like in the
Yes.
last like what the last month or so. And so, dude, like
Perfect.
I was like in the shower and I was like, oh, what if I did like evil dark timeline Julius? And as soon as that like idea came to me, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like this is gonna be so much fun.
That's
And it
great.
was great too, because that happened. And then I think we had like 2 weeks off because schedules didn't work. And
Mhm.
so like I remember leaving the studio that day and we were all just like, what? Like, what did we do? Like, oh my God, what is gonna happen? And as Will, like, it's talking to him about that. He's like, dude, it was above table. Like, I was just cracking a joke. And so, like, now, if you're careful and you listen, like, you'll hear one of us be like, no, above table, above table. Like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no.
Learned your lesson.
Oh, man. But I think Ben did a good job with that. And then, and then we've also just been like, he's completely uh, made us scared that it'll happen again. And so there's like on eggshells of like, oh, I don't know, like, oh God, not again.
As someone who's had my timeline broken in my game, which has led to amazing storylines in the long run, did Ben plan that or
No,
he
no, and I
just
want
oh
no,
wow,
like
that's
this
cool.
is okay. So like I will answer this question, but then I want to hear how your
Yes.
timeline got broken, please.
Okay.
Um, no, Ben did not plan that at all. He just ran with what Will said. And like I said, it was the end of an episode. And then we took 2 weeks off from filming. And so Ben just had like a week or two to chew on like how he wanted to handle the situation. But I remember texting him with the evil Julius idea, and he's like, "Okay, yeah." And so then, yeah, he was kind of off on his own for 2 weeks, and this is how it decided that's how he wanted to handle it. How did they break your timeline? What did they do to
So
you?
it broke a couple of times. The multiverse was broken completely as well, all thanks to the amazing deck of many things and the deck of
Oh
many
God, yeah, of
fates.
course, of course.
I love it.
Was
If I ever get stuck on storyline, draw a card. Let's see what
dude,
kind of chaos we can introduce to the game.
any
I love it.
DM as yeah, like it is the best thing for a session. Like if you don't know what else to do, like oh man, endless entertainment. Was it like the moon card and all the wishes, or like what did they do to break time?
Uh well, the first time they broke reality,
Okay,
one of the characters was gaining powers in basically space and time. I forget what
okay,
the subclass was. There's a
okay.
specific name for it. I can't remember right now, but he was traveling in the space between universes, like
Okay.
the veil, basically, right?
Okay.
And that allowed him to transfer to different, universes and whatnot. And while he was in there observing the universe, he decided it would be a good idea to cut a little hole,
Just
just
a
a
little,
little
just a
hole,
tiny
thinking,
hole.
hey, it's fine. Of course, that's going to unravel things. So that was the first time. So it ended up pulling a bunch of universes into my world because
Awesome.
my world of Nexia that I've been building since 1999 has
Awesome.
been slowly growing, but like I said, slowly. And this allowed me to basically pull parts of other worlds into my own world. So all of a sudden, you have part of the world that's from Toril, you have part of the world from Eberron, you have, just pulling it, all these little spaces, filling in gaps. Now I'm in the middle of a storyline where I'm trying to wipe out anything related to D&D because I'm playing mostly DC 20 with, some of my campaigns now, but I'm
Sure.
also creating my own world So
Sure.
I'm trying to replace, like, my whole pantheon's being replaced by player characters and things like that. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, drawing from the deck of many things, I forget exactly which cards they pulled, but 4 different times they changed reality. I think it was like the fate card where you
Okay.
strings of fate, and they wanted to change an event that had occurred, and the event that they picked basically led to everything. So I'm like, well, if that changed, then none of this happens. So they essentially broke the timeline 4 times because for some reason each player started picking the same card.
Oh
And
no.
I was
Oh
like,
no.
oh my gosh. So it ended up creating this entire storyline where there's like the evil version of themselves that they had to fight and things were converging. It gets really wild, but
Sure.
I love figuring out the crazy little tidbits. What would happen if this, if this occurred? What would actually happen if this occurred? We were running the Tiamat storyline,
Yup.
and they lost the fight. They all died,
Yeah.
all because of one player character in the very first episode. They decided to leave behind against the singular dragon and just ditched him. So that character survived, ended up becoming a paladin, oath of vengeance,
Sure.
and basically showed up in the very last episode and helped to take them all out. And now Tiamat's loose on the world. Dragons are everywhere. There's so many dragons. So I ended up creating another storyline where they had to travel the multiverse. So they're going to Skyrim, they're going to all these different universes, Zelda, getting all these magical artifacts
Awesome.
to give those that original party a second chance. So they
Yes.
ended up getting all these magical items, diving into a volcano that exploded. So it was like a super volcano plus magical ability. So I'm like, okay, how does this affect this city and that city? And so now one
Yeah.
city has like a half glass dome because of the sand wall that they had.
Sure.
So like
Sure.
I love the choices my players make. It just leads to such interesting storylines, and a bunch of them are now god tier, and they've actually ascended. So my entire pantheon is basically mostly all player characters.
That's
I love it,
awesome.
and they all
No.
have different aspects. It's
Well,
so great.
and like you can tell, like I can tell that you love it. Like there is
Oh,
no question. Like the enthusiasm shows through. I am curious though, because you mentioned
mhm.
like evil campaigns and whatnot. So like all those darker deities also player characters or like aspects of them, or have
Um,
they not been fleshed out yet?
no, because I haven't had any evil player characters, but
Sure.
some of them are related to the choices that they made specifically.
Okay.
So, like an enemy that they created along the way ended up ascending
Got you.
themselves, things like that.
Phenomenal cosmic powers!
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So, like everything in my world is based around player characters. Everything.
Yeah. Awesome.
Very, very little is from my own mind. I just facilitate the changes in the world, but everything is basically all. I love creating storyline based on player choices.
That's
I'm like,
fantastic, man.
you create a character with backstory, that backstory is showing up. That's a big part of the storyline going forward. I always take little tidbits. Every decision you make affects the world. Everything changes because of what you do.
That's
So,
fantastic. I mean, like to me, that's the way it should be. Like that's because that's like the one of the best parts about these games are just
mhm,
the co-creation.
exactly.
And there's a beautiful reciprocity there where like
Yeah.
everyone, whether they know it or not, is adding. So like, oh, you want to cut just a teensy little hole in the fabric between universes? Okay, please do.
Exactly. Exactly. And all the consequences. I love consequences. You make bad choices, consequences. Gotta
Yes.
throw them in there. What is the worst decision one of your player characters has made that
Oh,
led to something crazy?
dude, I TPK'd the party and I will still bring it up. Um, it was our last, it was actually so we were playing second edition player's option
Mhm,
with Dave, who wrote those counterpoint articles with me. And he
mhm,
was the DM, and we were, and like Nick, who becomes the Peak D&D DM eventually, like he and his wife Michelle had just moved up to where we live and were new. and he was going to be the next DM, which was like a very and like that was going to be that's when we shifted to 3.5 because that's what
Right.
he came up on. And
Mhm.
so there was this man, we were in the plains. I had this wizard, and it was one of those situations where like it wasn't necessarily an unwinnable fight, but it was definitely like, no, you need to go back and regroup and lick your wounds and try this another way. And I remember we were on like, there was some sort of like chessboard mechanic. And so I remember we were on this chessboard, and I think we had to like break a piece or steal a piece. And the big bad had it. I think it was like some demon had it in its hand. And I had my character, I think was like a tiefling maybe. And so like Dave had all these cool tables for like random tiefling abilities at character creation that he found. And I think I could cast shout once a day, just like innate ability. And so I
Nice.
remember like it was one of those things where like a bunch of us were down and it wasn't going great, but like the goal was to break the piece or get the piece. And so I just remember casting shout on the piece. And that was like the last action before we all TPK'd.
No! You've killed us all!
And like I felt terrible. Because like it was the end of Dave's storyline and it was the like end of Dave DMing for a while. He loves to DM. And
Yeah.
so, and it was like handing it over to Nick. And it's one of those things where like every so often in the Wednesday group, it'll come like I'll bring it up and it's just like, oh God, I can't believe. And I mean, at this point I've probably been playing as an adult for maybe 9, 11 years, like I knew better. um,
Right.
but like, man, I don't know if I was just like frustrated or what, but it did not go great for me. So that is the one that is like the most prescient when I think about like just dumb character mistakes.